This is a piece of Luigi's front diff which decided to exit the case back on the 5th of January this year. We had a whole saga and a battle with Isuzu to get a warranty repair. There's going to be some clips on the top of this. Attention D-Max, MUX and BT50 owners. Do you have problems with your front diff? These diffs are piss weak, aren't they, Luigi?
They are very piss weak.
So what we've noticed is that this housing is absolutely paper thin. So we're going to do some testing on our own, but how many of you guys out there have had issues with your front differential? And the question is, how was it received by the dealer? Did you feel supported? Did you have any issues? Tell us, because we want to understand if this is a bigger issue in the Isuzu and BT50 families. Luigi now is at the point where we're going to fix this problem for good. And the way we're going to do that is that we're going to install an e-locker in the front end to do away with all of the rubbish, lightweight, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say metallurgically inadequate equipment that comes in the front diff. So we're going to install the locker to fix this problem permanently, and Luigi's just at the point now where he's pulling the front end out of the car, and we just noticed that this is the front diff oil after only 3,000 kilometers.
It looks metallic.
It looks a bit shiny, and it tastes a bit funky too. And
It looks metallic, right?
yeah, it's a little bit shiny. Yeah, look at it. Look at all the shiny bits. Yeah. So look, when the diff's so new, that could be like machining oil. It could be some contaminants or stuff that's got in there when they've been doing the job. So if you're going to put new gears into a vehicle, new drivetrain components, you should always like run the first oil in the car and then drop it out after 1,000 Ks, put fresh oil into it. It's worth it. You know, it's worth investing a couple of $100 into the process. Luigi also has some cool other shit here. Who's it from?
Manji 4x4.
Yep.
Why do you have to fit this?
As it's also another common problem with Isuzu. So the tab holding the camber and caster bolt, they easily bend. They're very weak. You can see I got all mine, they actually bend. Yeah. And you see the plate, it's not sitting between the two tabs. So that means the alignment is very difficult to achieve a good alignment. And the worst part, that the alignment changes, especially when you go off-road, you give a bit of load on the front tires.
So it's moving around, right?
Yeah.
So where are you going with a diff drop? Sorry, with a diff lock instead of going with an OEM replacement?
Because this one, so basically, it's got 4 spider gears instead of 2 spider gears. So definitely it's a stronger gear, stronger component than the factory one. And being a locker, I've been designed to deliver 50% of torque on each of the tires. It's already a stronger, everything there is stronger, everything is more solid. And I know because I want to have a twin locked vehicle, probably come handy eventually, but it's not the main reason for doing this. The reason is because I don't want to go back on coming home with one of those in my pocket.
And I think actually what we should do is we should send this away and get this metallurgically tested. It's piss weak. It's lightweight equipment. It's rubbish. So ideally what we want to see is this angle here be as level as possible.
Correct, yeah.
So as Pancho's right, as this travels, if that's not totally dialed in, that's when you're going to get that movement. So bump steer is as you hit a pothole, so on compression or rebound, you get that motion. you feel it. It pulls the steering wheel. But geometry in the front end here is not ideal. So interestingly, we were just reviewing the color of the diff oil and the magnet, and after it's come out of Isuzu, there's still metallic shit. There's metallic stuff in there. Actually, there's a big chunk. Here's a big chunk of, looks like probably case hardening, or a chunk of gear there that wasn't cleaned. I suspect wasn't cleaned out of the diff when they probably just put the old plug back in it. Hopefully it's not your new diff, Luigi. But look at all the fuzzy shit on there. So that's diff material from the last job. So Luigi's got the diff out of the car now, and it's on the bench, and he's about to crack it open, but he's made a couple of observations. One of them was that, and this is very clever of him, so Luigi basically kind of maps out all the bolt hole locations, depending on their location, on the diff. So trick for newbies. But he did say that he has cleaned lots of sealant off the bolts themselves.
The threads as well? Yeah.
The threads, yep. So he said there's about 5 mils of sealant, and then look at this shit, right?
And
so
if it's outside the diff, it means it's also inside.
Inside.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that if you get this shit into your bearings, say la vie, what's the Italian version of see you later?
Ci vediamo dopo. Ciao ciao.
Ci vediamo dopo.
Catch you later bearings. Let's crack this open now, and we'll just see what the effect has been on the bearings. Wow, they've put so much silicone in there. That should really just pop. So can we just... Oh my God, look at all the shit inside. All right, just get it back on the bench. Okay, so see all this silicone from inside? So you can see all this shit here. Yeah, it's on here too. All this shit, all this silicone, right? And guarantee you, there will have been some floating around inside that diff oil. So this is just not necessary.
Shouldn't you also, when you put it, you just go around the thread or around the cavities and things, and you put a small amount. You don't need it. You just need to create that gasket.
Yeah, you only need like a thin, like a 3-4 mil bead, all the way around. Yeah, a 3-4 mil bead all the way around.
The black spaghetti.
Is there such a thing as black spaghetti?
You can use squid ink.
Oh yeah.
It's the time.
So we'll pull all that apart, clean the shit out of it, and because otherwise we're just going to contaminate the new locker.
Yeah.
Is a good amount of?
Yeah. So it just needs. What we'll do actually, when you go to put it back together.
Yeah.
Can we finish this?
We'll show you how much sealant, Celastic, that you need on that mating surface on reassembly, so you can understand what's required.
Right. All right, day 2. Luigi already cleaned all his parts. They're all nice and shiny now. Look at the balls. They look brand new, basically. Crown gear. And now he's gonna fit the gear into the locker itself.
That's the locker. On the D-Max, it does not come assembled. Usually, most vehicles, that's already all assembled. The max is not, because it's the crown wheel, otherwise won't fit, even though if you angle on the side. My diff, as you know, it's pretty new. It's only the 2000 case, but I always like to use brand new bearings. Just a peace of mind. I always go with genuine bearings, so that's genuine Isuzu.
Beautiful.
93074, 93074.
There's the part number if you need it for your D-Max. All right, so a couple of hours later, Luigi has everything fitted right now. He's been messing a bit with all the hardware, basically, to make everything fit nicely. So there's quite a few steps that you have to do. So Luigi, please.
Yeah,
What do you have to do?
Basically what happened, many lockers, they do have the anti-rotation bracket, which basically hold those tabs in place and stops the magnetic plate from rotating, so it doesn't damage the wiring. And that bracket basically will sit on top of this. With this diff, it's not possible to have the bracket because it's a very tight fit with the cover. So those tabs, they need to sit basically where they are now. And as well, a couple of modifications to do will be to slightly bend them. As you can see from me, they've been opened. And as well, to slightly shave them, because otherwise the cover won't fit in it. It's a bit of a very precise job to do, a few trial fit on and off to make sure you don't shave too much, make sure you don't bend too much, make sure you don't snap these very small welds on the plate. And then also you need to find the right location to drill the hole to get the wiring to go through. With this diff and where the wiring sits into, there is no many options where you can actually drill. I end up drilling here. Hopefully works. As we said, it's my diff, so it's, you know, at least if I made a mistake, I made a mistake on my own diff, and we can fix it on the next one. I'm confident with a bit of play around it will work. However, it's not where I usually will be drilling on other diffs. Yeah, usually I like to drill pretty much on this side, so it stays away from the crown wheel. It's got a good clearance from the pinion right there. I will say, so before running the grommet through the hole, I want to make sure everything fits, because if you run this through, then it's going to be very painful to pull them out again. Another little things for HARROP, which I think they could have done a little bit of better improvement into it, is that how the wiring is sitting into the diff. So it's coming from, basically, if you look up here, it's coming from this right corner down at the bottom. And personally, I don't like that, because I see it's up against the case. It's not a plate that will rotate, but you know, you put it in, you do the trial, you make a fit, so you need to go in and out a couple of times, and then we can possibly damage the wire.
So ideally, it should come out in a straight angle, right?
Should come out on a straight angle, or maybe just a little bit further down to clear that wall. Literally, probably another, I would say, 5 mils down. On the same angle, maybe 5 mils more down, or maybe weld those in a bit of a different spot so you can rotate the actual plate in a safer option. That I think will be a better fit than what it is in here. Yeah.
So Luigi is now applying the gasket maker.
Gasket maker sealant, yeah.
That's the right amount of bead that you want, because it's gonna spread and cover the whole width of the case, and then you're gonna be right. Here, Luigi's.
And also, yeah, I'll do
both sides of the hole.
Popping it. Also, like, you know, where the bolt's gonna go, I like to go around the neck, basically give them a necklace around it. And then what I'll do, I will spread it around with my finger. Then also what we'll do, we'll remove some of the excess.
Yeah.
Even this, I'll tell you, I might be too generous on this, to be honest. Can probably go with less of it.
Hey.
All right, fellas, finally the diff is in. It took me a bit longer than I was expecting, but I wanted to take my time and get it right. Drill the wiring hole for the grommet in the right spot and do it properly. Then, you know, everything's been torqued to spec, everything's been torque marked as well. I sealed. I realized there should have been what I believe it's a paper seal between these two sections. It should be a paper seal into the actuator section, which it wasn't in there the first place. And I think that was the cause of my leak that I had after the
Yeah, I remember
warranty job was done. Yep. As well, the reason why there is a little filling plug here, so there is a little bit of oil in there because there is a section of bearings and gears in there which they don't get the diff oil to go in there because there is the inner shaft seal in here. So that's why there is a plug in there which fills up the oil. There is no drain plug, which I believe doesn't really require to be drained, or if you need to drain it, you need to, you know, basically suck it out and put it in. So it's all done. If you find out wherever you go a diff with a smiley face and torque marks, that's me.
Luigi
Bang.
Motors.
Luigi Motors.
All right, buddy. Great work. All right, so Luigi is already fitting the whole diff assembly. The housing, diff mounts, everything. Actuator, of course. So now he's actually fitting this kit by Manji, which is basically a reinforcement kit for the weak-cast tabs.
On the lower control arm.
On the lower control arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes from factory in D-Max, MUXs, and BT50s. So yeah, we're gonna do a full instructional video on how to fit those things, because they look pretty cool. They look heavy duty. So yeah, probably check the link in the description. The video's gonna be there. If not, soon it's gonna be there, and we'll let you know. So yeah, stay tuned, and let's jump to the end of this video, because we already know what's going on down there. So there's no point of keeping filming that shit. All right, see ya.